Hello everybody and welcome to our last game of King of the Hill for today. It is me, Stormless, and I am flying solo as A is currently not with me. But that's fine because we have a little bit of practice in doing this on our own. We have on the left side of KotH Firma playing in the red shorts. It is Von Asten, already picked in with the Sturmpanther Doctrine. And on the right-hand side today, we have Sturmpanther, S-O-E Sturmpanther, his first entrance into King of the Hill. And he has a lot to prove. He is a very high-ranking 4v4 player, but I haven't seen too much of him in the 1v1 arena. I would at least say this is his first entrance into the 1v1 ultra-competitive scene. So he has to put his name on the map right now. He has to really put up a good show and prove that 4v4 players are not just the scrub of the scene, they are also doubling up as powerful 1v1 contesters. But here's his first challenge as we see Von Asten with the MG and the Sturmpanther. This is a really nice build because the Sturmpanther are cheap, they're quick to get on the field, they're able to run up with the defense of the MG. And this of course is bait. This is bait for these engineers. They may come back up to the center, they will get suppressed immediately. And it's a really good positioning from Von Asten. And on this side, he is actually trying to get this house and trying to put his foot down here. And this is really good because Sturmpanther, they do very well in cover. You've got the Pioneers, they are shooting through the building with their SMGs, clearing these conscripts out. The Sturmpanther pretty much taking no damage as of yet. A nice little flank here from Sturmpanther. He manages to force off the MG in the center. Sturmpanther, sorry, are going to take the church for defense. It's a nice, it's nice and it's very fortunate that Sturmpanther managed to get that line on the MG. Maybe a little bit of a misplay by Von Asten in terms of positioning. Nearly goes down on the retreat as well. So, early game in this, Von Asten going for the Sturmpanther build, going heavily into it as well with 3 Sturmpanther. He's going to bring out a second MG, and Sturmpanther is going to go for 4 squads of conscripts. So it's going to be an infantry-focused game at the start. No support weapons really other than these MGs. It's going to be a lot of flexibility, a lot of map control, and speaking of map control, Von Asten has very little at the start. Conscripts are going to be beating the Sturmpanther one-on-one, especially in these close quarter cover engagements. So it's actually pretty dangerous for Von Asten. He's already a little bit pushed by this misplay at the start. It's Sturmpanther. It looks like he's going for that house in the center. MG's going to get in there first. And it's a difficult one because 2 cons there, especially if he does decide to go for the Molotov upgrade. Could create problems, of course, that hasn't happened. MG should be able to get suppression shots on the conscripts. In fact, they will just move out of range in time for that setup. Second MG's coming in though. This is going to be defending the strategic cutoff for Von Asten. And he's going to have to slowly work out of his base now with no territory. Okay, he's got 1 strategic point, but pretty much no territory at the start of this. First suppression comes off. Sturmpanther are going to contest the conscripts 1v1 whilst they're firing back a little bit slower. MG's ready, capping, and it'll set up. Sturmpanther is preparing for this. He's actually built himself some green cover, so he's able to hold his fuel point as long as possible. I want to say Sturmpanther's had a really good start into this game. He's well up on resources. He's done really well on map control, and of course he's getting that really important triple cap on the VPs. It's really good as allies to get the triple cap as early as possible, because of course that is going to make a shorter game, less amount of time for Axis to get those late game veterancy, late game armor units on the field. But nearly double fuel for Sturmpanther. Fortunately, a great cut from Von Asten as he goes up the center of the map. He's got himself an MG in the building outside Sturmpanther's base, and he's going to go... This is really interesting actually. He's actually going for a big cut off. So if the Sturmpanther push and capture this point, and the Sturmpanther here capture this territory, then he'll actually cut Sturmpanther off from all resources on the map. It's a really good idea for him. And if he's really lucky, he may get this conscript on the retreat. Ostrupen don't quite have the manpower to deal with that.
120mm mortars are now available for deployment. Shock troops awaiting deployment.
Oh, this is interesting. So we do have a commander choice. Sturmpanther has gone for Soviet Shock Army. This is a really nice one. Conscript's going to be able to get the PPSHs, and there will be the HM120 perhaps as the indirect fire option. Interesting one because of course we do have tier 2 here already. So no real need for the HM120. I'm only guessing he's picking this because it's got PPSHs and it's got the IL-2, which is really, really powerful for Soviets at the moment. Von Asten's starting to turn this around a little. He's decapping all the heavy resource points. In fact, he's not going to recap, he's just going to move on. At the moment, putting the Pioneers here in the screen cover, it's just going to delay the conscripts from moving into the fuel point, which is a really nice play. The Pioneers there with the flamethrower, making things really difficult. It's going to cause a retreat for Von Asten. And a sensible retreat as well. Good idea to get units out of there and not take unnecessary model losses. I'm actually really surprised by Von Asten's build. 3 MGs here trying to counteract the swarm of conscripts. And even when we see Sturmpanther build this MG, it's not going to be able to push any of the Axis MGs. So 3 MGs will probably do quite well here. He's going to be able to lock down all of the narrow lanes of this map. And whilst doing that as well, you know, multiple conscripts that are running around, they're going to get suppressed. So it's really, really little chance of a flank here. Sturmpanther's going to have to be quite creative with his plays. It's just one of the great things about Ostrupen, to be honest, because they're so cheap. They're great in cover, you know, they're good at just creating long, drawn-out engagements where Von Asten's able to cap the map behind him. Ostrupen's on the front line. They're just, you know, lasting ages in these firefights. And it's a really nice, play style. It's a really nice mechanic. Oh, Von Asten, I think he tries to get suppression on those conscripts. Fortunately, one of the models still in the arc of fire. Can he get suppression on the next ones? No, he can't. And he's going to hit that retreat button instantly. A very sensible choice. 4 conscript squads, very, very threatening. And of course, all armed with Molotovs at the moment. I see another MG just opening up with a suppression round on these conscripts. I have to say, for Sturmpanther's first entry into this tournament, bear in mind he's against a player right now that has defeated Von Ivan, has defeated J for Jets, playing amazingly right now. He's actually doing a very, very good job, and we do see that the HM38 120mm is now on the field. We got a great ground attack by these Flame Pioneers through the hedgerow onto the MG. Good ground attack from Sturmpanther. He is displaying very good micro skills here. And I think Von Asten, bear in mind Von Asten could be suffering from that underestimating your opponent. Sturmpanther isn't high up on the 1v1 leaderboards, and that can sometimes create that little psychology pull where you just underestimate your opponent a little bit. They just surprise you with something. Could be that Von Asten gets an important wipe on the Maxim here. He's not going to be able to crew it just due to the amount left on these Pioneer squads. He should be focusing the Ostrupen right now to make sure they don't have a models to recrew that MG. Oh gosh! Sacrifices a couple of conscripts to try and recap it. That wasn't really necessary. Interesting game so far, and interesting. We're 10 minutes in right now. We've got tier 2. We've got quite a lot of fuel being banked. No sign of tier 3 coming up yet. So Sturmpanther may be calculating, you know, I need a little more fuel before I'm ready to commit to tier 3. Von Asten, on the other hand, he is. Let's have a look. He's actually skipped tier 2 at the moment, so he's not got anything from Battle Phase 1. Straight to Battle Phase 2, building tier 3 right now. Maybe going to bring out either an Ostwind or a Panzer IV. And actually, I think for the timing, when you're going to rush tier 3 like this, An Ostwind may be a brilliant unit, like a really, really good unit, because anything out of the tier 3 is still going to be able to be flanked by the Ostwind. And the main contender, which is the Su-76, is still going to be able to be easily flanked and easily pushed. So interesting to see what he's going to build. I'll be interested to see that. I always like seeing a little bit of diversity to the Panzer IV. Panzer IV is of course a really good choice because it counters medium and light vehicles, and it's able to deal with infantry as well. So, you know, it's kind of the good all-rounder. There's just something nice about seeing the Ostwind, and of course for Oster it would double up as anti-aircraft for when we see the IL-2 Sturmovik attacks. So it's hopefully, I mean that's what I want to see. Ostrupen here making good use of their flexibility on the field, making good use of the fact that they are vastly overpowering their Soviet counterparts, and he's going to be capping as much of the map as he possibly can with multiple units. MGs are making it very, very difficult for any of Sturmpanther's army to move about on the field. And we see here, wow, we rarely see this anymore, shock troops. And it's not a bad map for them because there are some narrow chokes on this map, some narrow lanes, and they might have some good efficiency here. They've also got smoke grenades, really, really important. You could see, you know, smoke from the HM38 and smoke grenades from the shock troops, allowing the conscripts to push past the support positions of Von Asten. But nevertheless, they're not a unit that is widely used because they just struggle. Conscripts suppressed there. Von Asten is just slowly working his way up the map, slowly making things difficult. More difficult at every moment. That was a huge grenade on the church. Takes a lot of model health down from the MG there. Von Asten comes in with another machine gun. This time it's the stolen Maxim. Oh, and that's going to go down. That's going to go down to the, hopefully from another flame burst. Now, interestingly, it's going to be very inefficient for shocks to capture this Maxim, but we end up with a pretty high armored Maxim if you want to recruit with that unit. And there have been some losses. We've seen some Ostrupen go down for Von Asten at the moment. Maxim's been recruited, and Sturmpanther has at least a manpower advantage at the moment. Telemines here from Von Asten. I think we saw some more as well. He planted them earlier but cancelled. T-70's on the field, and if this gets tripped up going on the right hand side, it's huge loss for Sturmpanther. He needs to be very careful and make sure that this unit is supported at all times. I think he's using it right now to crush the minefield that's been planted on his strategic decap, so good use of that unit. It's not going to take any damage from those mines. Here's the risk though. I mean, if he pushes with this, it could be bye-bye T-70 right at the start of the game. Will we see it? Sturmpanther, don't make that mistake. Very, very fortunately, takes another route, but there's another one to contest with. Somehow is avoiding it again. Very, very lucky T-70, and he's just using it right now, and I actually really like the way that he's using it, because he's sending it all around the map to all the multiple engagements that are happening to just create the tip over that it needs. And actually by sending that T-70 around, he's managed to force a number of engagements into a win for him, which is really nice. But here comes the Panzer IV from Von Asten. We also see as well, what was this? Why did we see this being built? Oh, okay, he's back-teched. I get it now, because he wants the Fausts. I was wondering what on earth had happened there. Now, Sturmpanther's going to be a little bit dismayed by seeing this, because of course, without going to Tier 1, Tier 2, Von Asten's had this Panzer IV up pretty early. Do we see the kill? And T-70 does go down. And Sturmpanther not even wanting to throw the anti-tank grenades. He's got the anti-tank gun going on the field at the moment. It's a little bit late, to be honest. 15 minutes into the game, you should have been expecting some kind of vehicle out, especially when you don't see anything from Tier 2. And that Panzer IV now, Von Asten feeling very, very confident to push down the center. Not even worrying about mines, really. 80 gun should open up with a shot, but I think a little bit of a position there means it doesn't get that first shot off. It's going to give Von Asten time to get out. He knows that AT is now on the field. And from that tier 1, he's going to build some indirect fire. Mortar pit. Sorry, not mortar pit, the actual mortar itself. It's going to be able to put smoke on the AT. Put that micro pressure on Sturmpanther to hit the Panzer IV. It's going to be able to smoke any of the MGs. Maybe even just cover the Ostrupen for a little bit longer. The support weapon play from Von Asten has been really good. Of course, these 3 MGs, and they're constantly reconfiguring on the map. They're constantly moving themselves into different positions and forcing retreats from the conscripts, which is really, really good. And he's constantly making it unexpected. You can see the positions of these 3 right here. He's got another MG covering the retreat path so that when this MG gets flanked, there was something covering it. Panzer IV could be dealing with the shocks in this building here. Not sure why Sturmpanther has put shocks in this building. They're not going to be doing anything other than giving vision for the HM38 in the center. And Sturmpanther's focus right now needs to get control of resources. He needs, really needs to get a VP so that he doesn't bleed too hard. And then he needs to focus on the build that is going to defeat Ostrupen. One of the things he does have to his advantage is that with Ostrupen, we already see that Von Asten's gone into tier 3, and it might be likely that Von Asten sticks in tier 3, which would mean that tier 4 from Sturmpanther could have a decent chance of going toe-to-toe with Von Asten's medium armor. If Von Asten does decide to go up to battle phase 3, you might see things like the Panther out in the late game, maybe the Brumbear, which would be devastating. And that would be a little more problematic for Sturmpanther to deal with, so still a chance at the moment. We have, of course, got that really nice IL-2 Sturmovik strike that so many Axis players are struggling to deal with right now. Panzer IV with a really nice flank on the rear here, forcing the AT gun out of position. NG isn't going to move, too busy pinning and suppressing the Ostrupen. Just nothing really here to Faust, which is really unfortunate. Only an MG and the flamethrower pioneers. That means, of course, Von Asten very comfortable to just micro this Panzer IV, cause as much damage as possible, and he does take down the Maxim. There's just nothing really for him to worry about right now. And here's the really serious issue. We've got mines laid on the field. S-mines from Von Asten. He's taken down the pioneers there. And he's just got a really good stranglehold on the map. If he gets MGs in really good positions, makes it very difficult for the conscripts to push. He's leaving Sturmpanther with very few options to reclaim VPs. Here we see the conscripts. They can't get in close with their close-range PPSHs because of the minefield, which is a really nice play. Don't often see Ostrupen with the flamethrower. It makes them even better in those cover engagements. Double MGs in the center. And Sturmpanther is going to be building Su-76. That's going to be up against the 2nd Panzer IV. Von Asten with the Ostrupen build is, even though you see him losing in the kill-death ratio, it's just because he's got very weak capping infantry. Actually, those losses do not translate well here with this commander doctrine into map control. On top of this as well, he's going for 2 bouts of indirect fire. He's going to have 2 mortars on the field, 3 MG. I mean, it's a huge support build. Somehow Sturmpanther is still managing to find the occasional gap that he can exploit. Managed to do that with the conscripts just there. PPSH conscripts using the church. They're going to be able to get a little bit of vision now. Have a look at what's coming, but they can't cap that VP just due to the fact that there are S-mines. It's a really good lockdown from Von Asten, and every game we've seen today from Von Asten has really been very defensive. He's really, really good at locking down those VPs, making things really, really difficult. If we see a barrage here from the Su-76 on the MG, we might see that telemine triggered, which would be very, very fortunate for Sturmpanther. And I don't think he's actually been scouting this. He had the flamethrowers equipped on the Pioneers, which means he won't really have any idea that these telemines have gone down. As soon as that Su-76 overextends, then we might see Calamity strike. Anybody asking in chat right now? No, AE is not here. AE is not here for the final cast of the day. It is just me.
The enemy is taking our territory.
And that should be good enough for you.
Time to unleash our heavy tanks.
Alright, so Su-76. I mean, this has mainly been brought out as a counter to the Panzer IVs. A little bit of a mobile helper for the AT gun, which is was previously the only line of defense against those Panzer IVs. We see a really nice Faust in there. Ostrupen are charging up the map. And if anything, it's a nice distraction. You know, when your opponent is charging units up the map, you do get distracted, you're not pushing as hard. And it just gives a little bit more time behind the front lines for those units to do the very, very important capping job that they are doing. Got the Panzer IV, it's going to catch a very, very overextended and unprotected Maxim on the right-hand side. Von Asten just securing his lead with another triple cap. Pretty bad MG positioning, but not like he's under too much stress at the moment. S-mines look like they might finally go down. And you can't help feeling that Sturmpanther needs to be focusing on VPs right now. Von Asten's doing a really, really good job of just putting VP pressure on, and Sturmpanther's kind of going for resources more than anything else. It feels like he wants to reconnect the fuel. It feels like that's what he believes is the ticket back into this game. Love Nest says, Shock still Vet 0. Will tell you are mistaken, good sir. They are currently on Veteran C1, just. But still absolutely useless. 5 kills for this unit, and I haven't really even seen the smoke grenades be used to great efficiency. Great positioning again by Von Asten with his MGs. Just not letting Sturmpanther onto the map at all. Hashtag Love Nest triggered. Always right, he says. Oh, this could be a big moment, actually. Panzer IV takes down the HM120, one of the best counters to the support build of Von Asten. And that's a bit of a loss for him, to be honest, because he needs those. He needs the HM38 to really, really rain down shells and constantly shake up the positioning of those MGs so he can get his conscripts ooh-rahing in and getting them dealing the damage. This game has not gone well for him at all. We're seeing even more Ostrupen come in off map. So Von Asten is really making great use of these units even into the late game. We tipped down to less than 150 VPs now for Sturmpanther. He's finally managed to scout the telemine, so he knows that those mines have been placed, and that's good game knowledge by him, really. He didn't have to get the minesweepers on that squad, and after losing his Flame Pioneer squad, I think he's made the right decision there. It was likely that Von Asten, identifying that, might be laying telemines to take advantage of no mine scouting, so he's made a good decision, and he's already getting the benefits out of that. Here we see a really, really aggressive push with the Panzer IV. It looks like it's on vehicle-only mode. There we go, he just takes it out now and is going to start the base harassment. Su-76. Now this is nice because you see the Panzer IV coming in here on the flank. So he's baiting this Su-76 to come around with the AT gun as well. And there's the Panzer IV flank. He's once again going for that HM38, forcing Sturmpanther to retreat. It's a really, really nice play with the Panzer IVs there. It's really, really good positioning. Does need to be careful though of this AT gun, which has turned around to contest. Sturmpanther might decide to try and get a ground attack. And just hasn't quite managed to pull it off. And Von Asten's playing well here. He's not doing a mistake that I think I saw him make in the last game, where he allowed J for Jet to just kind of get back into the game a little bit, because he wasn't applying the pressure. He just kind of went for the King Tiger and left it so late. Well, this game, actually, he's committing to his medium armor build, and he's just applying that pressure constantly. He's not even allowing Sturmpanther to get on the VPs at all. He's making it very, very difficult, and applying pressure, this is a much better play style for him, rather than waiting for some big unit that is, if anything, just BM against his opponent. Shock troops trying to get in there. There is no preemptive smoke grenade, so this unit now suppressed, not able to call in anything at all, and retreat is the only answer. We then have a very close range barrage from the Su-76. Is it enough to pull that MG off of the map? It's one of those barrages that isn't really great at actually getting the kill. If anything, it just kind of shifts the units around, and unless it has any kind of backup, isn't really the solution to the problem. We are seeing a Faust from the Ostrupen here, and Su-76 will take engine damage even from full health. There's the Panzer IV, and I think Von Asten is going to hunt for the kill. But a Panzer IV on the left-hand side as well, gets one big shot off, and both these Su-76s are in trouble. One goes down, but it looks like one Panzer IV goes down to good AT positioning. Von Asten should just sweep up this Su-76, be very, very happy with what he's picked up, and retreat. Doesn't need to be greedy here, just taking a very big win. Does not want to take a hit from the AT gun, and a snare from the conscripts. It looks like he might be about to, but the timing just wasn't good between the AT gun setting up. But what a game from Von Asten again. Just really good play. He's been laying mines. He's been very aggressive at the right moments. He's got a good build, and he's identified the counter build to his opponent very, very well. So we have to say Von Asten really is... I personally feel like he's been the newcomer in King of the Hill. He's been kind of best newcomer, if we're going to offer that accolade. In a sense, he's not even really a newcomer. He's a player that's been around for a while and just hasn't shone out amongst the top 10. Well, now he is. Now he's actually taking on the best of the best in very good form, and Sturmpanther here just not able to match up to it at the moment. He's very, very committed to this tier 3. Got another Su-76, and this will be the third time that this unit has failed to make a difference. Okay, so the mortar, I believe, just triggered the telemine, which has then blown up the Panzer IV. I think that was a very, very sad thing to miss, but not the kind of thing you'd be looking out for. I'm pretty sure that just got triggered by his own teller. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. Huge barrage here as well. Look at the effectiveness of that. Wiping loads of Ostrupen. Wow, that is getting up to 9 kills straight away. But there we go. Sturmpanther loses out on the VPs. And that is GG. Von Asten again remains king. Sorry, it's got a little bit dark in here. Let's sort that out. But that is going to be the end of King of the Hill for today. Congratulations, Von Asten, who has done a really good job of keeping his title of king throughout the last 2 or 3 games, beating Von Ivan, J for Jet, and Sturmpanther. And also congratulations to Sturmpanther. It's the first time he stepped into the public 1v1 arena, to my knowledge. And, you know, at least standing toe-to-toe with Von Asten for a decent amount of time in that game. So, good job there. But thank you very much, guys, for joining for this week. If you haven't had enough of the action today, then I encourage you to go to my YouTube, which is YouTube/Stormless. I think it's Stormless UK, actually, because some wretched little bastard took my screen name. Let me just check this. We are... Do you know what? I can't even tell. You can search Stormless, or you can exclamation mark YouTube to bring that up. We do have another masterclass that I uploaded earlier, which is with Von Ivan, explaining his OKW fortifications build that you saw last week played so well against Carl. If you've enjoyed today, please do leave a follow and subscribe if you want to. As I say, there is more content on YouTube, and A will be uploading the rest. And thanks again for the donations. We're hitting our weekly goals time after time. Stick around, because as AE said, next week there is going to be a big announcement in the KotH community for some events that are happening for the rest of this year. So we'll hope to see you next week. Tell your friends and family. And thanks again for supporting Company of Heroes 2 and the players that make it such a good game. And with that, see you guys next week.